Munjaya Shamana Kahaya Lochana Dasa Apana Karma Munjaya Shamana Kahaya Lochana Dasa Parama Karuna Bahu Dvijana Nitai Gora Chandra Parama Karuna Pahodijana Nitai Gora Chandra Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll go through the word meaning of this quickly. Parama means supreme, Karuna means merciful. Bahu Dui Jana, Dui two lords, Jana. Nitai Gaura Chandra, Lord Nityananda. Sava Avatar. Sava means all avatar of the avatars. Sara means the essence. And Siromani means the jewel. Kevala means only or purely Ananda, blissful Kanda path. So this avatar of Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, is the essence of all avatars, and they have come to purely give a blissful process, the Ananda path, the path of bliss. Bhajo Bhajoi, Bhai means brother. Bhajo, worship. Oh brother, please worship Caitanya Nitai. Sudridha, with strong determination. Vishvasa Kori, do that. Vishaya, sense gratification. Charya, give up. Say, this rase, spiritual mellow, spiritual bliss, majja, taste. Accept. Majja? Is it? Majja? Be in that bliss, that say rase majja, be in that. So give up sense gratification and be in the bliss of this Ananda Kanda that they've come to give, with sudrida, great determination. Mukhe, how do you do that? Mukhe, with your mouth, bolo, chant, Hari Hari, the names of Krishna. Deko ore bai, you'll see, brother, see, O brother, deko means to see. Ore, this, is it? Just mean, oh yeah, so ore bai, so oh brother, deko, see this, deko means see. Tri bhuvane, three bhuvane, the three worlds, nine, not. So oh brother, just see that in the three worlds there is not emana doyala data, doyala merciful, emana means another, or such, emana such, doyala merciful. So in the three worlds, you won't see, oh brother, you won't see someone as merciful as Nitai Gaura. Pashu means an animal, paku, paki, birds, jure, see. Pashyana vidare, Pashana means stone, isn't it? So birds, animals, stone, vidare, they're seeing, shuni, they're hearing jara gunagata. What does that mean? So even the stones, the animals, birds, they're all... Shuni means to hear, jara, guna, the qualities. By hearing the qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the glories and qualities there, even the stones and the birds, they're becoming...
Stones refer to us, we're so stone-hearted.
So like us, stone-hearted beings. But also, it also means, you can see Prabhupada says here, in the forest of Jarikanda, when the animals were there and Lord Chaitanya was chanting, that even the animals were becoming immersed in this bliss of love of Godhead by Lord Chaitanya. So mercy. Samsare majya rohili porya sepade nahilo asha. In this world of samsara, you won't see this. What is it? Shepade. We're caught in this material world. Samsara majya, roli pare shepade, those lotus feet, nahila asha, we have not accepted. We're not reaching out for those lotus feet. Apana karma, apana means my karma, bunjaya shamana. He's saying you've tried, in other words, he's lamenting myself for my karmas. I've been trying to be the enjoyer, bunjaya shamana. Candle? So he's losing all your time in this human life with no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Kahoi, he says, Lord Chandas, he's lamenting this. So he's glorifying Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, two verses, third verses, that even in other words, even the animals and the stones in Jarikanda forest, the animals in the stones, they're all melting in love of Godhead. And then in the last verse, he's lamenting that due to his karma, due to being so absorbed in this material world, he doesn't have any attraction for those lotus feet. So he's in the last verse there, he's lamenting that. Jai Lochandas Thakur ki Jai. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're going to read from the Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita, text 254 to 257 today. Shuni krodha koila sabha paduyara gana Sabe meli kare tabe prabhura nindan Shuni krodha koila sabha paduyara gana Sabe mele kore tabe prabhura nindan Shuni krodha kaila sabo paduya ragana Sabe mele kare tabe prabhura nindan Shuni krodha kaila saba paduya ragana Sabe meli karitabu prabhura nidana. Shuni, hearing, krodha, angry, kaila, became, sabha, all, paduyara, of students, garna, the groups, sabe, all, meli, joining together, kare, do, tabe, then, prabhuda, of the Lord, nindana, accusation. Hearing of the incident, all the students, greatly angry, joined together in criticizing the Lord. Text 255. Sabadeshe bhrasta kaila ekala nimani brahmana marite chahe dharma bhayanai. Nimai Pandit alone has spoiled the entire country, they accused. He wants to strike a caste brahmana. He has no fear of religious principles. Purport. In those days also, the caste brahmanas were very much proud. They were not prepared to accept chastisement even from a teacher or spiritual master. Text 256. Puna yadi aiche kare mariba tahari konva manusha hayaki karite pare. If he again performs such an atrocious act, certainly we shall retaliate and strike him in turn. Who is he, an important person, that he can check us in this way? Text 257. Prabhura nindaya sabara buddhi hailanash supatita vidya karo nahaya prakash. When all the students thus resolved, criticizing Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, their intelligence was spoilt. Thus, although they were learned scholars, because of this offense, the essence of knowledge was not manifest in them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita it is said, Mayaya paritagyana asuram bhavam ashritaha. When one becomes inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, adopting an atheistic attitude, asuram bhavam, even if one is a learned scholar, the essence of knowledge does not become manifest in him. In other words, the essence of his knowledge is stolen by the illusory energy of the Lord. In this connection, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes a mantra from the Svetashvatara Upanishad. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru tasyate khatita hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. The purport of this verse is that one who is unflinchingly devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and similarly devoted to the spiritual master with no ulterior motive, becomes a master of all knowledge. In the heart of such a devotee, the real essence of the Vedic knowledge becomes manifest. This essence is nothing but surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vadaischa save aham eva vedyo. Only unto one who fully surrenders to the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord does the essence of Vedic knowledge become manifest, and not to anyone else. This same principle is emphasized by Sri Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.24. Iti pumsa pita Vishnu bhaktis jen navalakshana kriyate bhagavati adha tanmanye dhitam uttamam. A person who directly applies these 9 principles, hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., in the service of the Lord, is to be understood as a greatly learned man who has assimilated the Vedic literatures very well. For the goal of studying the Vedic literatures is to understand the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna. Sridhar Swami confirms in his commentary that first one must surrender to the spiritual master, then the process of devotional service will develop. It is not a fact that only one who diligently pursues an academic career can become a devotee. Even with no academic career, if one has full faith in the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he develops in spiritual life and real knowledge of the Vedas. The example of Maharaj Khatvanga confirms this. One who surrenders is understood to have learned the subject matter of the Vedas very nicely. One who adopts this Vedic process of surrender learns devotional service and is certainly successful. One who is very much proud, however, is unable to surrender either to the spiritual master or to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he cannot understand the essence of any Vedic literature. Srimad Bhagavatam declares, Shabda Brahmani Nishnato Na Nishnayat Pare Yadi Shramas Tasya Shrama Phalo Hyadenum Iva Rakshataha. If one is learned in Vedic literature but is not a devotee of Lord Vishnu, his work is a useless waste of labour, just like the keeping of a cow that does not give milk. Bhagavatam 11:18. Anyone who does not follow the surrendering process but is simply interested in an academic career cannot make any advancement. His profit is only his labour for nothing. If one is expert in the study of the Vedas but does not surrender to a spiritual master or Vishnu, all his cultivation of knowledge is but a waste of time and labour. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tusha Namaha. Namo Brahmanidevaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. The Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita in another place mentions that Shri Radhara Bhava Laya Chaitanya Avatar Yuga Dharma Nama Prema Kaila Parachar, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to fulfill two purposes. He had his internal purpose and his external purpose. The internal purpose was to experience the love of his devotees of Vrajabhumi Dham, Srimati Radharani, the gopis, and his external purpose was to distribute the Yuga Dharma, or the process of spiritual enlightenment for this age, the Hare Krishna mantra, the Sankirtan movement. So in this pastime we can see, I don't know if everybody's been following, but what's just happened is that Lord Chaitanya, he's still called Nimai Pandit, so this is just before he took sannyas. He was in ecstasy, and so Nimai Pandit was, known as a very great scholar in Navadvip initially, and then later on he went to Gaya to perform the ceremonies for the passing away, after the passing away of his father, Jagannath Mishra. And he met his spiritual master and he took initiation. At that time he started to manifest this internal symptoms of an extremely advanced, the most advanced personality in love of God. And his devotees, his intimate devotees could understand this. Shri Radhara Bhavalaya Chaitanya Avatar. They could understand that he was experiencing these sentiments. We know the story, you might have heard the story, that once Srimati Rukmini Devi greeted Krishna in Dwarka, and she began crying, and he asked why she was crying, because he'd just come back from being out, he'd just come home, and he thought that she would be happy. But she was crying, he couldn't understand. So he said, "Why are you crying?" And she said that, "Well, you're here now, but I'm crying because I can understand that at some point you're going to go." And just that intense emotion of Rukmini Devi, she's explaining that even just the thought of Krishna leaving is overwhelming to his intimate devotees. And she went on to say that to Krishna, she said, "You are the Supreme Lord, You are the Swayam Bhagavan, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Said, you are the Supreme Lord, and you know everything, you know everyone. In the Gita, Krishna says this. He says, I know everyone, but me nobody knows. He says like that in the Gita. So she was saying to him that you know everything, but there's one thing that you don't know. So Krishna is thinking, what is that I don't know? I know indirectly and indirectly, I know everything that's going on in all the universes. I know every atom, what's going on, everything. He was thinking, what is it that I don't know? And she explained, the one thing you don't know, because you are the Lord, you are the source of all. You don't understand the depth. We have a speaker there, they can listen to the class. You don't understand the depth of the emotion that your dependent devotees feel for you. You are the Supreme Lord, you are the controller, you are in charge of everything. But you don't understand what is it that actually your devotees feel for you. And she said, the one person that understands this is Radharani. Radharani understands this. And at that time, Krishna said, okay, I know everything but this one thing, so there's only one way I can understand this, is if I can come and actually take the position of Srimati Radharani, take this position of my most beloved devotee, and then I can understand this, what Rukmini is telling me. And also at that time, Narada Muni, he came, and he was also very down-faced. And Lord Krishna was thinking, what is going on? This Narada Muni is liberated, brahmachari, doesn't have any cares in the world, just travels around the universe singing Radhika Ramana. So why he's down-faced, why he's downcast? So he said, what's going on? What's wrong? And Narada Muni said, I'm very concerned about the people in this Kali Yuga. How will they be delivered? And so Krishna said, okay, don't worry. He said, I've just been talking to Rukmini, and I'm going to come in the Kali Yuga, I'm going to come as my own devotee to understand the love of Srimati Radharani, and I'll also come to spread this calling out for the name of God. It's the name of the Lord in love, prema sankirtan. And in that way, all of the people of Kali Yuga will be delivered, because they cannot perform all of the technical religious processes, but they can call out to God in congregational chanting. So in this way, he was explaining how he will come and perform his pastimes in this avatar. Kevala Ananda Kanda, the blissful avatar of Nitai Gaur. So these students, they didn't understand that, right? So Lord Caitanya was, as Nimai Pandit, he started to exhibit these symptoms of love of Godhead. He came to experience the emotions and the spiritual ecstasies of Srimati Radharani in separation from Krishna. And he was calling out, oh my Gopi, oh my Gopi, oh Gopi. He's calling out to Radharani. He's in that ecstasy of the gopis. And when Krishna left Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they simply lamented for the rest of their lives. They were calling out. They were saying, they were imitating Krishna. We can read in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Uddhava went to Vrindavan, he described the scene that they were imitating. One was pretending Krishna was killing some demon, some else was Krishna herding the cows, the different gods. They were just enacting Krishna's pastimes in complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. This is explained that when Ramananda Roy was explaining to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and giving all of the what is the perfection of life, he began with Varnashram, and Lord Chaitanya said, that's good, That's very good, but that's external. Can you tell us more? And finally, he came to the love that the residents of Vrindavan, specifically the gopis, had for Krishna in separation when Krishna went away. That is the highest. He was explaining is the highest perfection of pure love. We can see that the Vaishnavas, sometimes they're described as wanting different kinds of liberation, to have the same form as the Lord, and this is wonderful. And wanting to be with the Lord on the same planet as the Lord, and so on and so forth. But the residents of Vrindavan, even if Krishna wasn't there, they were just simply lamenting in pure love for him. They were calling out to him, and of course, Krishna, in one sense, never leaves Vrindavan, right? Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. So he was there in his unmanifest form, and the residents of Vrindavan were continually in union with Krishna, as well as in separation from Krishna externally. So like this, Lord Chaitanya was experiencing this mood of the Brajavasis, especially Srimati Radharani, and he's calling out to the other gopis like this. So this student didn't understand this, right? He didn't understand. He wasn't one of the intimate devotees. And this is the purport that Srila Prabhupada's, explaining this point here, that one can only understand by surrendering to the spiritual master. One cannot understand by their own erudition, by their own academic knowledge. So these students were no doubt very learned, and you can see that they themselves are saying they're, caste brahmanas, they're the most learned in society and so forth. But that learning didn't give them entrance into what was the mood and the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the student, the Brahmana student, somewhat foolishly said that, Nimai Pandit, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi, Gopi? You should be chanting the name of Krishna. Krishna gives you all auspiciousness, it gives you so much piety, it gives you liberation, all these things he was explaining. And of course, because he hadn't surrendered to the Lord, he wasn't a surrendered devotee of the Lord, because he was relying on his own understanding of the situation, he couldn't understand what was going on. Now, Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, he's in the mood of Radharani, Shri Radhara Bhavala Chaitanya Vata, and he's chastising in that mood of Radharani, in the ecstatic mood. She's sometimes chastised Krishna. That rascal, he's crooked, he said he'd do this, but he didn't do that. Sometimes the gopis would, they would say, in joking words, in loving words, they would say to Krishna, why should we listen to you about dharma? You killed a bull. He's like, that was a demon, but still it's a bull. Like that, they would have different joking words among them. So like this, Lord Chaitanya was saying some joking words, in slanting words against Krishna in his ecstatic mood. But this Brahmana student, that he took it that, he was saying terrible things about Krishna, even horrible things, very irreligious, like this. So this was his external vision. And he went back to the other students to say this. So of course, this was, this is a extreme rasa abhas, right? For Lord Chaitanya, he's in that mellow, he's in that mood. We can see that when Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, and when he was in these kind of moods, which became always by the end of his by the latter days, only the expert intimate devotees, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, they would recite various songs about Krishna's pastime, about how Krishna was interacting, what he was doing, the moods that were going on in Vrindavan, and Lord Chaitanya would become consoled by that. But in this case, the Brahmana, the student Brahmana, had no entrance into that, and was speaking these directions to Lord Chaitanya. And we know another example of this. You might know the example where Srila Madhavendra Puri, who is described as the the first manifestation of this pure love of Krishna that came into the world. When he was leaving his body, he was calling out. He was crying. He was crying in the spiritual separation from Krishna. And one of his disciples, Ramachandra Puri, is that right? Ramachandra Puri? Yep. He said, "Why are you crying? Why are you lamenting?" He said, "You should be on Brahman. You should be on the Brahman platform. Total shanti, equanimity. And why are you crying at this point of leaving your body?" So this, of course, same thing. He didn't understand the internal mood of the Vaishnava, of the Bhakta. And Ishvara Puri asked him, take this person out. He's disturbing me greatly. And Ishvara Puri, who was very nicely serving Madhavendra Puri, he got all the blessings of his spiritual master. Of course, later on, we know that when Ramachandra Puri came to Puri, when Lord Chaitanya was there, Lord Chaitanya gave him all great respect because he was on the level of his spiritual master. But eventually Ramachandra Puri, well, not eventually, very quickly he started criticizing Lord Chaitanya, started criticizing how much he was eating, so many different things, in such a way that it said that when Ramachandra Puri finally left Jagannath Puri, that all the devotees were very, very happy. So in the same way, these students, they were not understanding this mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya, he was very angry. Who is this person? You were talking about Krishna, this Rascal Krishna, he's left us, and blah, 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 like this. In his ecstatic mood, he's saying this, and he took up a stick to chase out that student. And so, of course, the student came back to his other students, like 1,000 students, some big place, and was saying he dared to attack a smarta brahmana. He was saying horrible things about Krishna, all of these things, completely misunderstood. And Prabhupada's explaining here that if, in bhakti, and especially in bhakti, now of course in all the Vedas, one has to surrender to the spiritual master, but in bhakti it's essential because it's a personal process. It's not a process of just getting free from the material modes, neti, and then being on a spiritual platform. To actually enter into these pastimes and relationships, we have to surrender to. We have to accept the guidance of those who are in those relationships already, who are acting in that spiritual, on that spiritual level, the great acharyas, the great spiritual masters. We have to accept their understanding. We can't try to give our own understanding. If we want to enter into that, it's very natural. So these Brahmin students wouldn't. So due to that, this was when Lord Chaitanya started to think that he has to do something different for this type of people. And we can see, similarly to the Mayavadis in Varanasi and others, those who are very, very learned, Lord Chaitanya, for this reason, Lord Chaitanya took the position of a sannyasi in the society, which was very respected. To invoke that submissive inquiry, he took the position of somebody in society where people would relate to that, be able to invoke that submissive inquiry. So this is the bhakti yoga process. It is informed by the jnana, by the knowledge, and in the beginning the knowledge is essential to understand what is material, what is spiritual. But ultimately it's a personal service mood. It's having a mood of service to those who are serving Krishna. Prabhupada gives the example of Maharaj Katvanga in the purport. You may know the story of Maharaj Katvanga. He was such a great warrior that he was actually helping the demigods. He was helping the great personalities of the universe. And after this battle was won, the demigod said, we'll give you any benediction that you like. And he thought about it and he said, well, okay, that's all right, any benediction, any wealth or position or whatever, but first of all, can you tell me how long am I going to live for? Because what's the use of, so much benediction if you're not going to live long? I think I told this story in a recent class that there was one lady who established a huge company, and it was a very nice company. It was a company that did natural soaps and bars and things. You'd know the name for sure. And became extremely successful and eventually sold it for something like $300 million. Like more money than any of us could even think about. Like what, we're trying to collect $2 million to build the whole kitchen for the whole temple. Somebody gets $300 million. And but a year after that, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor and died within a year. So, that's very tragic, of course. But it shows what is the point of material acquisitions. What's the point? You may, okay, this body and this legal name body has $300 million, but if you're not in the body, what's the use of it? It's gone. So Maharaj Kachwanga, he was very intelligent, and he said, tell me how long we're going to live. And they looked up the thing, they said, actually you have 1 muhurta to live, which is about 40 minutes. And he said, oh, okay, then let me not worry about all this kingly opulence. Just send me back to my temple. And he went back to his temple. He had a simple temple. He paid his obeisances in front of his deities and left his body there in pure Krishna consciousness. So that example is given that even with no academic, nothing, if one simply surrenders to Krishna, then they can attain full perfection in this life. So I'll leave it there to leave some time for any comments or questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Thanks for the class, Prabhu. So you're saying how Krishna, he doesn't know the mood of Radharani, so he had to come as Lord Caitanya. How do we understand that if he's obviously expands as the super soul and then he can know everything about everyone because he's with everyone, but then he can't understand the mood of one of his other expansions, for example, like Srimati Radharani?
Because that's his position as the Lord. He is the Purusha. He's the shelter of all energies. But then to be the energy that takes shelter of him, then he doesn't have that experience. So of course he can, by any means, he can do whatever. He could just take that position. He could have just manifested that right then in Dwarka, or he can do however he wants to do. But how he wanted to do was to come in this form of Lord Chaitanya. See, it's an incredibly sublime thing that he did. If you understand, he's coming in that mood of his devotee, his topmost devotee Radharani. He's coming in that mood, but then at the same time, by him having that mood, all of us, we can come to see, that's what is spiritual perfection. Spiritual perfection is not like becoming like a stone or a tree and just inert. No, spiritual perfection is crying in love for the Lord. He exhibits that to us. So these are pastimes, like personal pastimes. There's two kind of ways to look at things. You can look at the tattva or the philosophy, and then you can look at the pastimes. And if we try to look at the pastimes through the lens of philosophy, then we may come to a funny conclusion. Why does Krishna carry the cowherd boy on his shoulder, that one? He's the strength. Why doesn't he just win every battle when the cowherd boys wrestle? Why doesn't Krishna just win every one? Well, because it's not fun. It's fun for him sometimes to lose. Why is he getting chastised by Mother Yashoda and he's running out of fear of the stick? She's got the stick, he's running. Because he likes it, it's fun. Right? So it's not tattva, it's not philosophy, it's this battery's gone. If we think that, yes, I'm a devotee and, I can also feel what the gopis are feeling and I'll just go and feel it. No, the philosophy tells us you're still conditioned. Your emotions are attracted to these material emotions. You can't think that I can just go and experience the pastimes purely. No, you can read them and have some appreciation. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that these pastimes of Krishna and Radha, he said, we keep them above our heads. They're above our heads. There's something up there. Sometimes we look up, oh yeah, they're up there. We appreciate them, but we keep them up there. Not that we think, yeah, we can jump in and be a part of that. So whether we try to look at the pastimes through the philosophy or try to have the philosophy look through the pastime, it's can give a rasa bus, essentially. It's a kind of rasa bus to say, Krishna is the Lord of all, therefore, why can't he do that? No, this is he's a person, right? Second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, has the whole philosophy there. The second chapter is just everything's there, and included in there is a very essential verse. Vidya Vinaya, not this. What is it? What? Vadanti tat. Vadanti tat tattva vidam tattvam yajganam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdite. So the pastime is a Bhagavan level. It's Krishna in his world. It's in his world. What is he doing? What does he want to do? He's in there and he says, I'll come and do this, I'll do that. And Brahman is just spiritual paramatmas to do with this world. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that only the primary names, the names in relation to Krishna, give love of God. All the other things are to do with the material world. So the philosophy is to do with the material world. Just like you said, even in your question, you said, right, he's Paramatma. So that's on that Paramatma level. He's the Paramatma, he can know everything, he can be everything. That's on that level. So we also have to, understand the Sambandha, like what level are we looking at? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Are we looking at Brahman, just what's spiritual, what's material? This material desire, this is spiritual, that's just Brahman. Then Paramatma is like, okay, we do this, the Super Soul reciprocates, gives us that, gives us some spiritual benefit, whatever. Like that's still to do with this world. But Bhagavan, that's his world. That's why Vaishnavism is the supreme religion. We can say that here. We won't go and say it in the street at an interreligious conference or something. It's not a dogmatic statement, but it's a statement of scientific analysis that Vaishnavism is only religion that gives us the Bhagavan platform. What is Krishna in his world? All the other world religions, they talk about Krishna in our world. They talk about God in our world. Please give us the daily bread. Please give us freedom from let us win over our enemies. Let us be safe. God, Allah, the great. He's the greatest. He's the great one that controls everything. It's all to do with our world, what He's giving to us. You see, but Bhagavan is His world. What does He actually want? What does He want? Oh Lord, please let us give you your daily bread. That's our prayer. See, so it's different. It's very, very subtle. That's a good prayer. Huh? Lord, let us give you your daily bread. That's the voice. Huh? Yeah, let us give you your daily chapati. That's our prayer, right? With the other religions, there's how we can get from God. All right. Anything else? Yep. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Sri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Hmm?